You saw an individual in that clip just now that we viewed together. You know, Geraldo, how we got Geraldo here tonight was a year ago, and many of you were with us, when we honored TV's Judge Janine Pirro, our 2010 honoree. Geraldo sent a message, and one of the things he said was he'd always consider himself an honorary Lebanese. And that locked him into coming to Detroit in 2011. But I want to share with you something. I want to go a little further beyond those reports, because Geraldo has really embraced the Lebanese community, and to portray his career-long coverage and support of the Lebanese American community, we mentioned the following newsworthy note and addendum. In light of a recent movie title, including the name of who you just witnessed, the assassinated Lebanese President Bashir Gemayel, author Joel Solkoff this summer wrote of his experience at the time of President Gemayel's death in Washington, D.C. He wrote, "Then we all went to the memorial service. The memorial service is the reason for my telling you this story. Everything else is prologue. Bashir was president of Lebanon and a Maronite Christian, part of the Coptic Rite. In Washington, D.C., there is a Coptic rite associated with the Roman Catholic St. Matthew's Cathedral down the block from the Mayflower Hotel. At St. Matthew's, the mayor of John Fitzgerald Kennedy had been in state. At the D.C. memorial service for Bashir Gemayel, the prominent mourner was Geraldo Rivera. He arrived in a beautiful, narrow white limousine, bringing with him ABC television cameras. The representative from the State Department was acceptably high on the organizational chart, as was an aide from Senator Edward Kennedy's office who gave a speech. But it was Geraldo who delivered an emotional, let me tell you a personal story eulogy. This is why we love you, Geraldo, because you not only cover Lebanon and the Lebanese, but you embrace our heritage, our culture, and all that embodies being a Lebanese American and being of Lebanese descent. In the clip, you saw your coverage of Baalbek. This is the Pillar of Baalbek Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming and congratulating Geraldo Rivera, our 2011 Pillar of Baalbek honoree. Geraldo.
You know, just on the ride here, I was reminded that it is the anniversary of the assassination of the 35th President of the United States, the young and gracious John F. Kennedy. And it is so profoundly moving and telling that assassinations have played such an awful role in Lebanon's recent history. And those two great men that I was honored to know and to call my friend, the Prime Minister, Rafiq Hariri, a Sunni Muslim who was a visionary, was inclusive, was a person with not an ounce of discrimination in his body. He reached out to everyone, to the Shia, to the Israelis, to the Americans, to everyone. He wanted a Lebanon like the Lebanon of old, the crossroads of the world, where cosmopolitan people, traders from the Phoenicians on, could get together and everybody together could work not only to improve the situation of their own families, but really making a difference for Lebanon. And I was so proud to know him, a man of enormous wealth who put his money where his mouth is. He built mosques and health clinics and food kitchens, and he started so many different businesses, a magnificent man. And then in 2005, a Syrian orchestrated Hezbollah attack took him from us in a way that was brutal. They blew up the whole block to kill Rafiq Hariri. And it was a real devastating blow. But as well as I was honored to know the Prime Minister, I knew the former president so much more profoundly and personally. Bashir Gemayel was one of the most special people that modern history has been blessed to experience. He was, again, a visionary, a Christian who wanted peace, who fought to preserve his community first against an onslaught that those of you who weren't there or don't have people who were there cannot imagine. How between 1975 and 1990, that poor little country was torn to shreds in sectarian violence. And I met Bashir in 1979, 1980. And I'll tell you a quick story. We came to know each other. I stayed with him. He came to the United States and stayed with me. I was so proud to know him, this sheik, this man from this fabled Lebanese family, who was not a sectarian fighter. He fought to preserve the Christian community, but he was a Lebanese patriot. And he used to talk about how he loved the entire country from top to bottom and how he wanted all Lebanese to get together and to put aside their whatever their ethnic or religious identity might be and be Lebanese. He was just a wonderful, wonderful man, a courageous fighter, an inspiration. He was in many ways like John Kennedy. And then he promised me that if he won the election for president, he would give me the first interview because of our relationship. I wasn't in Lebanon in the days after the election, but he sought me out. He called me, and then we did a remote interview. I was on vacation. I think I may have even been on my boat, and we did it on ship-to-shore radio. He didn't care. He was going to honor that pledge to give me the first interview. And he did, and then a few days later, in 1982, another Syrian bomb, another brutal mass murder, took a whole block out, killed scores of innocent people because they wanted to kill Bashir Gemayel. And I remember Peter Jennings, the ABC anchorman at the time, said, "Don't worry, his brother Pierre or Amir will take over, and things will be the same. It's the same family." I said, "No, you don't understand. It's not the same. This man was once in a century, and he really was. And I mourn his passing to this day. And if I wanted to, I could easily bring myself to tears just remembering the times we spent and the promise that was cut short by that assassin's bomb." Kennedy, Hariri, Gemayel, they are brothers. They are brothers in spirit. They are brothers in our memory. They are martyrs to freedom and justice and inclusion. Anyway, I treasure this because I am and will always be an honorary Lebanese. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I invite Myrna to come back.